Well, good afternoon, you lot. It's been a little while since I posted a video. We've been pretty busy here. Usual stuff, really. Cracking on with work and the Christmas period and things, and just trying to get stuff sorted out. Um, Worked a bit on the Celica, had some progress on various different things, including the cam issues that we were seeing last time. They're still not working, but I have some progress. So the initial issues that we were seeing were due to a bit of confusion on my part with regards to how the ECU controls the VVT and also the auxiliary outputs which are available from the ECU. I was using both sides of the H bridge, so there's a double-ended H bridge control, which is able to supposedly have four outputs, except when you use it for drive-by-wire, it turns out. So I was using both sides for one side for the drive-by-wire and one side to control other items. In this case, one of the cam solenoids and the water injection solenoid, I think. And in doing so, what it was trying to do was drive the drive-by-wire and those at the same time, which is why it wasn't working. I have swapped things around now, so I've got the H bridge separated to run just the drive-by-wire, and I'm using all of the outputs. The only thing that I've had to sacrifice was the water pump control for the charge cooler. So that now is just switched manually, so whenever the car is on, I've got just a manual switch inside, so that can be controlled with that. Everything else is as it was, pretty much. That got the cam solenoids working, and I then switched them on and didn't have time to tune them and didn't think anything of it, really. I then decided to take the car to the Retro Rides gathering and without testing anything, which was probably not a great idea, jumped in the car expecting it to just run and broke down, I don't know, maybe 35 times and then gave up about halfway. That wasn't ideal. And now looking back at it, I understand why it was doing what it was doing. But effectively, it would just drive along absolutely fine, and then suddenly the engine would die. If I cycled the ignition, it would then come back to life. So what I was doing was cycling it and then clutch bumping it to get it running again, which was fine on A roads. But then I got onto some dual carriageway, and it got very, very sketchy. I'm surprised I didn't get flattened by a lorry, to be honest. And just I had to call it quits at that point. Got recovered back home, and I didn't touch the car for quite some time after that. But as I say, now we've worked out what was going on, so that's all working as it should, kind of. I've added flyback diodes to the outputs, so the when you control solenoids, because they're a coil and they're being controlled by the ECU, they with a pulsating current running through them, they can actually generate a flyback voltage, and in doing so, it can actually hold them open when you don't want them to be open. The flyback voltage can actually be pretty huge and can damage components. Fortunately, the ECU is protected on this, and now I've added the flyback diodes, it's doing what it's meant to do. Literally, they are just bridged across the solenoid outputs, and that means that there is a bleed between the two wires when you've got the pulsating current trying to control the solenoid. That means that it bleeds back the voltage and it stops it generating this ever-increasing flyback voltage. So that's good. I still haven't got full cam control. That is under investigation at the moment. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I'm in discussions with the ECU manufacturer and various other experts to see whether or not anyone's got any bright ideas. Everything else is working as it should, really. I've just got the EGT sensors fitted again and working now via the CAN network. Sorry, of course, CAN network. The CAN, and the issue there was that the convention between the EGT box that has its output for the CAN in decimal, and the ECU has it in hex. Which is weird because they're both from the same manufacturer, so you would have thought that there would be a bit more symmetry between the two. But once I realised that, I could changed the program or naming convention for the channels, and it works fine. So we've got our 4 EGTs. If I show you, we can see. So we've got the 4 EGTs actually in there now. They're all sorted. Quite hard to see what's going on there. Let's have a look. Yeah, so they're all in and doing what we want them to do, which is pretty cool. Water injection is something else that I've been working quite heavily on. I've been struggling to control pressures and things with the nothing to do with electronic control. It's purely mechanical pressure regulator stuff. So I'm working on that at the moment. I've got various different items stripped down on the workbench. I've got a box of bits with loads of different parts for the control of the water pressure. So that's all coming together. The other thing which I am going to do is swap over to a stainless steel fuel injector, so an E85 injector, rather than using the WRC one which came with this, purely because I am unsure of the internals of the one that's on there, and I think the flow rate might be a bit too low. I think it only does about 190 cc per minute at 3 bar. So what I need to do is swap over to a much larger injector, because I need to have about 25% water volume compared to fuel volume. So if I'm running 900cc injectors, and the way which I'm going to be running it, it means that I end up with about a 600cc injector will do about 20%, which will be fine. So that will work out nicely. Working on the air filter setup as well. So that is coming along at the moment. I'm just trying to work out how we're going to fit it in down there. There's enough space. I just need to work out exactly how I'm going to plumb it in. I'm probably going to end up making a carbon air box for it out of various different bits and bobs. I just need to make a mould up pretty much. What else have we got going on at the moment? But I've sorted out one of the kids' Christmas presents. Sorry, a balance bike, colour matched to the Celica, because, well, why wouldn't you? Done quite a bit on the bike as well. I don't know if you guys know, I'm restoring a 1990s 125 Celica bike as well. It's got a crazy monoshock front end on it, single-sided with a single damper. It's pretty bonkers. So that's been coming along. We've painted everything on that, and the engine's pretty much ready to go back in. It's just on the bench at the moment over there. So the plans next up, I've been trying to make I want to make the clutch a bit easier to use, because at the moment the clutch is very heavy. And after some calculations, because I'm running this Wilwood pedal box, the pedal ratio on that's 5.25 to 1. The standard Celica setups, I think 6 or 6.2 to 1. And I'm using the standard master cylinder. Now, it's already a heavier clutch, much heavier. And in doing so, I've also then lost 20% of my or 25% of my leverage ratio as well. So the pedal effort's much higher. So I'm going to swap out from this, which is the original Celica master cylinder, which is 21mm bore, and I'm going to go down to something like a 17mm bore, I think, which is 0.7 of an inch. That'll fit direct into the Wilwood box and take me back to 6.2, an effective ratio of 6.2 on the pedal, which would be perfect. And that'll lighten things up massively, which will make it easier to drive, because at the moment, I won't lie, it's a complete dick to drive. It's hard work. Apart from that, I think gearbox as well. So gearbox cooler, that's on its way. I need to drain the gearbox down and fit the cooler direct to the lines that are already there, and that will give me the gearbox cooler, because at the moment it's just looped. And once we've got that sorted out, I think we're pretty much ready to start thinking about probably doing some dyno work, more cal. I think that's pretty much it at the moment. It's all been sort of slowly moving. It just life gets in the way with these things. But I'm hoping to have it out for spring, basically. I mean, it's sawned at the moment off road anyway, but we're hoping to have it out for spring and running properly in anger, which would be great. No, it's not too much to do, really. Just trying to get things sorted out and ready for dyno work. I'll try and get the videos a bit more regular again, because at the moment, of course, we've been months since the last one. But yeah, I hope you've all had a good Christmas, and here's to a good New Year. Thank you.